Well, good morning and welcome to the show. Jeff Beals here at your service. We are broadcasting live from KFAB Studios in downtown Dundee, and we're excited to tell you that you're not going to find another show anywhere in Omaha that talks about the things we discuss, and that is economic development, construction, real estate, really anything related to Omaha becoming more vibrant, more prosperous. You'll have a lot of fun listening to it, and you want to thank our sponsors, Dingman's Collision Center, along with Cheer Athletics, for making it possible. Without any further ado, one of my favorite parts of the week is introducing my legendary co-host, a real estate deal-making machine, and all-around interesting fellow, Trenton Magid.
Thanks, Jeff. Just trying to keep up with you. And good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, good morning to you, Trenton. And hey, we've got a recommendation for you guys today. The Countryside Village Art Fair is taking place today and tomorrow. This is the longest running art fair in the metro area. It'll be today from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and tomorrow from 10 to 5. And when you're there, you got to go see our own Brad Williams. You know Brad. He's on the show all the time, official photographer of the Grow Omaha show. He will have a booth right in front of the Casual Pint, which is ironically one of Brad's favorite places in Countryside Village. Right in front of the Casual Pint, stop by, see his beautiful photography, and say hi to Brad.
Absolutely. And Jeff, we had a great time last night. Congratulations to the city of La Vista, Mayor Doug Kindig, who's a friend of ours, has been on the show numerous times. And congratulations to the whole staff, Brenda Gunn, Bruce Fountain, Chris, the planning director, excuse me. Basically, we went to the Astro, which is part of La Vista City Center, and saw a Journey cover band, a Kurt Cobain
Cover band.
Nirvana cover band, but there's a lot of people there, and that's a beautiful facility, the Astro Theater. Doug Kindig has done a great job. He is running on a pose. That's how good of a job he's doing. And
no one would dare challenge him.
Today is the parade. I think it starts at 10. Go to the City Hall area, and there is a lot going on there. And Chris Solberg is who I'm thinking of, city planner, and they all run a great show down in La Vista. And I'm so excited, not just for the city center area, but for the Southport area and all of La Vista. So thank you.
That was a fun event last night, and you and I were able to take Stephanie and Amy with us. And that is, I feel bad admitting this, but that's the first time I had ever been inside the new Astro Theater or the adjacent amphitheater. And wow, nice place.
And I went there during construction, but they're getting some neat tenants there. And it's just so fun to see, and I've done a lot of work, especially in the Southport area, but just to see businesses go to La Vista and to see how the city is run and watch it grow.
Well, let's go into our news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, 114th and Dodge. Their office is right there in the middle of everything. You can find them online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. They do mortgages, as the name would indicate, FHA, VA, conventional mortgages, even some specialty mortgages. But if you are thinking about getting your piece of the American dream, or perhaps a nicer, newer, bigger, differently located version of the American dream, they'll help you with all of that. They sit down with you, find out what is important to you, learn your unique circumstances, and then because they're not a bank, they can shop lenders and find the best lender for you. And they've been doing it for 30 years. Highly recommend them. We know Holly Schneidewin, the owner, very, very well. Been a good friend of ours for a long time and a sponsor of the show for, like 8 or 9 years. And couldn't recommend them more. Safe choice if you're looking for a lender, Eagle Mortgage. All right, so many things in the news. First of all, we have a new mixed-use development to be known as Shadow View Village, which is going into an undeveloped piece of land northeast of 200th and West Center Road. So not 204th, you got to go east a few blocks, so it's northeast of 200th and Center. Plans call for a 240-unit apartment complex. There's going to be some office, some retail space, a freestanding daycare building, and a unique feature of the development will be 40 additional residential units on top of some of the commercial space. Glad to see some of that type of development in the suburbs.
And that's very unique. Now, what's interesting about that is it's almost an infill if you think about it, the city kind of grew around it. 204th Street, that Highway 31/6, what's going on around there, and most of that land is all in developers' hands. And what's unique about this one is putting residential, whether it's condos or apartments, above retail. That's what a lot of people think that Village Point missed. And back then they weren't doing it as much. It's a lot harder to develop. It's a lot harder to finance. But imagine Village Point with apartment and hotels above the retail.
Now that 200th Street is infill development, Trenton and Jeff are officially old. A developer plans to subdivide 9402 Pacific Street into residential development. Had been a house on a large 2-acre lot there, torn down. Was originally going to be row houses. Now it is going to be 8 single-family residences. New cul-de-sac going to be built just off of Pacific Street. The lots will range from 8 to 10,000 square feet, and the houses will be about 2,600 square feet. And that, my friend, truly is an infill development.
And we're seeing more and more of that, especially on Pacific Street. Lockwood is that project just east of Westside High School and just north of 90th and Pacific. There's houses there. So it's good use. We're getting more dense in the center of our city.
Well, we can't guarantee that the Huskers will win the championship every year, but the Big Ten Conference announced earlier this week that its conference baseball tournament and championship game will remain at Charles Schwab Field, Omaha, through the 2027 season. Now, the 2024 tournament was just last week. I know a lot of you probably went to the game. Huskers won it in a very close game Sunday morning, and crowd was pretty impressive. A very, very large crowd for a Big Ten Conference championship game. And then here's something to make you feel very good about the city that you have chosen to live in. U.S. News ranked Omaha as the 18th best place to live in 2024 among the 150 largest cities in the United States. The study factored each city's desirability, job market, cost of living, and quality of life. Now, the top 5 were Naples, Florida, Boise, Idaho, Colorado Springs, Greenville, South Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina. But Omaha fared very well.
Well, I'm guessing that the affordability is a little bit better than Naples, Florida. And
might be right.
I prefer Forbes Home that voted us number 1.
Yeah, they voted us recently the number 1 city to move to in 2024, which Omaha is great.
We'll take both of those.
We love Omaha. We're Omaha cheerleaders. We're natives. We have, for crying out loud, we have a show called Grow Omaha. But if you would have told me that someday Omaha would be Forbes' number 1 city to move to in 2024, I would have been like, wow, that's pretty cool.
What are we missing?
I'd be surprised.
No, we love our city.
The city of Omaha received $2 million in federal money to help pay for a pedestrian walkway through UNMC. This is going to be called the Midtown Medical Center Bikeway Project. Cool title. I like that. Midtown Medical Center Bikeway Project. It'll include a very impressive bike and pedestrian bridge over Saddle Creek Road at Emily Street. So this will basically take people from the heart of the proper, normal, traditional UNMC campus into the west of Saddle Creek campus that's under development. It'll also include a bridge over Leavenworth Street at the Field Club Trail. Construction should start next year, and completion will probably take a couple of years.
Given the cost of construction projects, Jeff, I'm guessing it's more than $2 million. That's part of the financing.
I believe about 12 or 13, and a lot of the money came from a federal grant from a year or two ago, and this is basically a pile-on. So the feds are being nice to us. So let's use it to build some cool projects.
Yeah, let's talk about projects that are less than $50 million once in a while.
It's hard. Well, and in our town, we specialize. We get excited starting at $100 million.
Yes.
Like Joslyn, the Tanaska Center, the Kiewit, the Steelhouse Omaha. Those are all over 100. The Central Flagship Library. If you got at least $100 million, and Trenton and Jeff get excited. Before that, it's just a brief. It's just a news brief. Just kidding. The Nebraska Medical Center, speaking of a bikeway through the Nebraska Medical Center, here's more news related to the Med Center. The Med Center has a proposal before city planning to rezone an area southwest of 42nd and Farnham. This would allow redevelopment in the area. We don't know the details yet, but we keep hearing that the Med Center has big plans for that area. But in the short run, and very significant, plans call to vacate that jug handle turn. A jug handle is like when you have to kind of go onto another street to go turn. So if you're familiar with that 42nd and Farnham area, right at 42nd Street, if you're eastbound, you're forced over to Harney Street. That's all going to go away. And it'll just be a normal, easy flowing, nice two-way Farnham Street, not that far in the future.
Great.
And that is your news of the week, which is brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. Going to take our first break of the hour, and when we come back, we're going to bring on our friend Heath Mello, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Greater Omaha Chamber. We're going to talk Omaha growth and development with Heath and just kind of catch up, and we know it'll be a fascinating conversation. So stay with us and enjoy it. You're listening to Jeff and Trenton on Grow Omaha, brought to you by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center on News Radio 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Trenton Magid are with you today, and we are brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. If you are looking for an outstanding leadership and confidence building experience, a communication and physical fitness type experience, check out Cheer Athletics. There are about 12 or 13 of them in the nation. Fortunately, one of them is right here in Omaha, near Highways 50 and 370 in Papillion. Do a great job getting kids to learn how to compete and be very physically fit and get tremendous life experiences. Check out CA Omaha, CA as in Cheer Athletics, caomaha.com. We have with us Heath Mello. He is the president and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber, and we periodically like to have the head of the chamber in just kind of talk about Omaha growth and development. Heath, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be with you, Jeff. Trenton, thanks so much.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time, and we always like to start with big, broad questions. How's Omaha doing right now?
Well, it's always sunny in Omaha is what I like to say. Hearing some of the stuff that you shared, we're at the beginning of the tourism part of the summer. We've been riding a pretty amazing wave, I would say, over the last few months of everything from the Forbes #1 ranking of the best city to move to. Livability.com named us one of the top cities, most livable cities in the country. You just mentioned U.S. News and World Report's rankings. I mean, we've really been riding, I would say, a pretty amazing positive news cycle over the last 4 to 5 months. But the work always continues, so to speak. And, at the Greater Omaha Chamber, our economic development work really focuses an awful lot on what we do in terms of business recruitment and business expansion work. And we've really put a lot of effort in 2024 on the first quarter and second quarter so far on our business expansion work. Typically, we always see a lot of business attraction work happen throughout the year, but we've really stepped up, focusing a lot on what we're doing for our local businesses in Omaha in the early part of the year, which is we typically do that in the second half of the year, but we really tried to change things up a little bit, and we've seen some new projects come to work, which is something that's a little unique in terms of our own cycle. So, 140 visits across the region and saw some earlier project wins, which is nice. Right now, we've seen about 39 new to market, or 39, I would say, business attraction projects that we've opened files on so far, 27 new to market projects, 11 existing projects that are kind of, I would say, business attraction projects, so to speak, and one startup for the region. So really kind of on track, I would say, typically in regards to where we see our numbers in terms of business attraction to the region. But things seem to be moving kind of in the typical kind of numbers of how we like to track what we're doing in terms of that business expansion and business attraction space. But the bigger thing I'd share is the really thing that's caught me off guard in the first couple quarters is the significant amount of international engagement we've had. And I just don't, this is new, I'm just finishing my 10th in this role. And it's been an amazing experience. And I've been asking folks if we've typically seen this kind of international engagement. We've had a tremendous amount of German companies that have come to Omaha over the last 3 months, particularly a number of German manufacturers, particularly agricultural manufacturers that have been coming to the Omaha area wanting to explore setting up corporate headquarters, wanting to explore clearly manufacturing facilities. We've seen some Finnish companies as well, some Austrian companies, things that I've asked our economic development team, which is just something that's unique in the terms of the amount of international engagement that we haven't seen in this short amount of time. And it's part of that, I think, winning formula about the greater Omaha area, that clearly we have a track record of having a great environment for our sites, for clearly our workforce, cost of living, and clearly what we would typically like to say, that secret sauce about the greater Omaha area, which is what we've got in terms of our people, our place, and to some extent what we offer our companies.
So I remember when we've got a plethora of data centers over the last 15, 20 years, and they cited workforce, cost of utilities, cost of land. What these international companies, they're coming to Omaha, and what are the other comments about the business climate in Omaha? Are they not looking at other places because Omaha is better, or how does Omaha get on the radar?
Well, and I should have mentioned this earlier, Trent. A lot of our new to market projects that we're seeing, and I can't, you both know some of the confidentiality aspects with our economic development work I've got to be careful of. A lot of our new to market projects that we've seen so far this year, about 50% of them so far are related to manufacturing or some connection also to transportation and logistics. So we still are seeing manufacturing overall being a driving force of our new to market projects. So for reasons that we're seeing, the manufacturing industry is looking to the greater Omaha area as a hub to want to locate new manufacturing facilities.
We do some manufacturing, but I wouldn't say that we're known for being a lot of manufacturing. That's what I find interesting about it, Jeff.
I think the what we're finding out as much as anything else. One, it's some of the sites that we do have are good sites in the region. Two, we do clearly have. I just heard the CEO from Omaha Public Power District reiterate some really great data the other day, which is if you took our unique power structure and our unique kind of rates that Omaha Public Power District has in our region in comparison to other national rates in other competitive cities, OPPD saves our ratepayers about $400 million a year. And so when you think about the rate savings that we, the three of us as ratepayers in Omaha Public Power, the amount of money we save being in Omaha, imagine that impact it has as a manufacturer. And so that cost savings for a company, whether you're a commercial, whether you're you own a commercial property or an industrial property, is significant. So clearly, energy utilization and energy usage also is a driving factor for manufacturers as well. And then workforce. I mean, that's the one thing, whether you hear Governor Pillen say it, whether you hear Mayor Stothert say it, it's something we highlight a lot as well. We have truly a very, very strong workforce when it comes to certain sectors. The manufacturing sector is one of them. You talk to any manufacturer, they're always looking to add to the workforce. That is perhaps kind of a double-edged sword for us right now. We find out in talking to companies that some companies could grow faster if we could help speed up some of the training, some of the education opportunities to get other additional employees or other additional residents into workforce programs related to manufacturing quicker, because then they could speed up their hiring process to get more employees in the pipeline for existing companies. So that is always a little bit of a challenge for us, is bringing in a new manufacturer that wants to hire, for an example, hire 200 people in Blair. And the reality is, hey, it's great for us to bring in a higher wage manufacturing jobs in Blair. But the reality is we've also got to be able to help find and train some additional people to go into manufacturing because we know that other companies are also looking for more folks in manufacturing also. And so it's something that we're constantly thinking about, constantly looking at, and we're trying to figure out a way to do that.
All right, we're having a conversation with Heath Mello, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. Much more to come, several things we want to talk about with Heath related to Omaha growth and development. Stay with us. We're going to break for the news and then be back. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Well, we want to thank Dingman's Collision Center for being one of our sponsors. They have 4 metro area locations. It doesn't matter which one you choose because they're all great. Dingman's works on your car. You know, they're famous for body work, bumps, bruises, scratches, scrapes, serious damage to cars. They do all of that, but they also have a mechanical function as well. Dingman's Collision Center, constantly a Best of Omaha winner and a sponsor of Grow Omaha. Also, thanks to Cheer Athletics for being a sponsor of the show. It's time for your Noddle Company's commercial real estate spotlight of the week, real estate development spotlight of the week, I should say. And this week we go to the Builders District in North Downtown. And I was driving in the Builders District just a couple of days ago, and I noticed construction progress on the new public amenity park that Noddle Companies is putting in the Builders District. So if you're thinking, okay, where is this Builders District? Picture Charles Schwab Field, go a couple blocks to the west. Kiewit has its global headquarters there, as well as Kiewit University. A lot of things happening in that area. Noddle Companies just kind of wrapped up construction on a beautiful mass timber 5-story office building. But on the west side of 16th Street, Noddle Companies is going to put in a small, you could call it a pocket park, mini park, but heavy on amenities. It's going to be very similar to the little park they did in Exarban Village, where Sunny's, the Airstream is, and you get the cornhole games and all that stuff. And when I was driving by this week, it looked like they were testing the big screen. And there's going to be this big screen right in the middle of it. Now, the park's still a little ways off. There's still, dirt there. They got some work to do, but it's coming along, and it's looking great. And we want to thank Noddle Companies for not only doing that project, but for being a sponsor of the show. They've been with us for many years, and they are perhaps Omaha's best-known developer. Big projects. There's Exarban Village, River's Edge in Council Bluffs, Steel Ridge in the Papillion-Gretna area. They're also famous for headquarters buildings, HDR headquarters, Valmont headquarters. Those are just 2 of the most recent headquarter buildings they've done. You can learn more about them at noddlecompanies.com. We have Heath Mello with us, President and CEO of the Greater Omaha Chamber. And Heath, I want to talk a little bit about site development. It's so important. In the last segment, you were talking about these manufacturers, some of them even from Europe. They're looking at locating in Omaha. Got to have a place to put them. How are we doing with site development?
Well, you know what, Jeff, that is always a significant issue that we're thinking about from both an Omaha perspective as well as from our Greater Omaha Economic Development Partnership perspective. From an Omaha perspective, we continually do struggle in the city of Omaha boundaries for industrial sites, particularly. The one big opportunity we do have on the horizon is the airport business park development opportunity that has been in the news, I would say, over the last 6 months or so in the North Omaha area around the airport. The legislature took some activity and took some action on that over this past legislative session with Senator Wayne, Senator McKinney, and Governor Pillen. They found a compromise moving forward with a number of issues. We think there's a process that's moving forward now that everyone feels comfortable with. We're going to see some of that moving forward with Mayor Stothert and the City Council in the next week or so with the creation of the city's new Inland Port Authority. That will have a process that kicks off the creation of that new authority where this airport business park will start to get created. And so from a chamber's perspective, that's going to be a multi-year process for us to be able to see those number of lots for us to be able to see industrial development in North Omaha near the airport, which is a tremendous opportunity for the city of Omaha. In the surrounding areas, there are some major opportunities in Fremont, in Blair, in Plattsmouth, in Nebraska City, areas that we are seeing more and more of those manufacturing companies want to come in and explore some tremendous opportunities. Sarpy County, we're seeing a number of our Go Ready sites starting to come up through that process to be able to be certified for potential site readiness for some major projects. So that is the one thing that we've been putting a little bit more time and energy on, is making sure we have some sites available for more and more of these new to market projects. Perhaps probably the one positive thing that I know some folks have been putting a lot of time and energy on in the region is a mega site. I know this was something that's been on the show for a number of years, is if we ever wanted to compete for a major manufacturer, I mean an auto manufacturer of microchips, so to speak, as Trent said, we don't have a site available anywhere in the region. The legislature this year, through the work of Senator Mike McDonald, Senator Mike Jacobson out in North Platte, Senator Julie Slama in Peru, they were able to get a study done, essentially, which essentially is going to put $500,000 to study mega sites in potential locations across the state where we know there's some potential mega sites in the 2nd Congressional District area, as well as some areas in the 1st Congressional District that is in the kind of Cass County area and in the Otoe County area as well. And so there's going to be some opportunities where the state's going to put some resources in, identify potential opportunities for us to see some of these very, very large sites that could position our region, the greater Omaha metro region, for some of these major projects, whether it's an auto manufacturer, a microchip processor, where I would have told you a couple years ago, I would have never thought we would get the state position to be able to do that. And that's something that's a real, I think, positive for the region.
Especially when it comes to economic development. Traditionally, especially when we saw it with all the data centers and stuff, where there was ready sites that your economic development team at the chamber we're talking to farmers, we're talking to the engineers, and it's a big thing about getting sewer to a lot of Sarpy County. How you're obviously continuing to do that. Do they define what a mega site is?
In the legislation, they define a mega site. I believe they define a mega site as larger than 1,000 acres is kind of what they're looking at. And then they kind of differentiate it in regards to sites that are between like 500 acres to like 800 acres. I mean, they have different classifications in terms of, because they're looking at potential sites out in western Nebraska aren't going to be 1,000 acres. So they're trying to find ways to identify certain mega sites in certain areas of the state that would be of different sizes, so that projects maybe in a North Platte would qualify, quote unquote, as a mega site in comparison to a mega site here in the metro area, which would maybe be a lot different based on our population and our workforce availability.
Let's spend a couple minutes talking about the urban core. And by the way, we're interviewing Heath Mello, head of the Greater Omaha Chamber. Heath, if you go downtown Omaha today, you're going to see the new Mutual of Omaha Tower elevator and stair shaft sheer towers getting up to about 16 or 17 stories. The more action we have downtown, the more we want more.
We've got sites.
Yes.
What's the latest of the urban core?
I think the big thing is, last time I got to see you at a press conference, Jeff, was the Duo. I think we were all really excited about the Duo project right there on the streetcar line. In terms of one of the large, if not the largest, new housing project in the urban core, right across the street from the new Mutual of Omaha headquarters. I can tell you there's a number of other housing projects that are kind of in the works. I can't really share at this point in time that likely will be coming out. I wouldn't be surprised you'll hear some more from City Hall here in the coming weeks and months. Clearly, some of the things that we're looking at, there's some of those new to market projects I mentioned earlier are looking at some commercial spaces in the urban core that we're really excited about that we've been working on. That would be some projects that could have a real potential big impact of bringing in some not just new companies, but clearly some new workers and new employees to the downtown area. That is exactly what the strategy is and what the strategy called for when we wanted to bring not just 30,000 new residents, but 30,000 new jobs to the urban core, which is really, really exciting. But I always take an opportunity when I can just to kind of highlight, when folks are able to go downtown, whether it's this weekend, the Taste of Omaha is going on, next, it's those kind of activities that we constantly are seeing. Folks are going to be seeing and hearing a lot more about the modern streetcar, a variety of, you're going to see the cranes that are going to keep coming up with different projects. The Baby Bob Bridge is kind of coming to its last phases, so to speak, before the College World Series starts in a few weeks. The Wall Street Journal released a story, literally, I think it was about 6 to 7 weeks ago, about St. Louis's downtown in the Doom Loop. And every chance I can get, I never like to highlight another friendly city of ours. And St. Louis, Kansas City, Des Moines, we're all partners in a lot of ways and a lot of what's happening in the Midwest. But the Wall Street Journal did an expose in their downtown and called it the downtown Doom Loop, in terms of what's happening in their inability to fill commercial real estate in their downtown. And, we've had a number of out of town, East Coast, West Coast, of visitors coming in for some consultants working on a variety of different projects, different speakers who've just made mention of not just that article, but have come around and taken tours and have just remarked about how vibrant our downtown core is in terms of people who are working, who are eating, who are spending time during those working hours between the hours of 10 o'clock and 3 o'clock in our downtown area. Because they have remarked, if you go to a lot of major cities, you're going to the downtown area, people aren't there. People are working remotely. People are not, restaurants aren't being utilized. And they said this is something they just haven't seen a lot of. And
killing cities.
And they said it's killing cities. And they said this is something that Omaha, you should be very proud of. It's something that as a business community, this is something you should be celebrating. And it's something that you should be highlighting more and more, not just as a chamber of commerce, but candidly as an overall community. And you should be reinforcing that to your employees. You should be reinforcing to your business owners. And overall, it's something that we should be reinforcing more and more, that it's making us more competitive to bringing in more economic development and more companies to our community.
Well, Heath, we appreciate you joining us as always. We'll have you back in a few months, and you can update us with what else is going on. But thanks to you and your colleagues down at the Chamber for doing everything you guys possibly can to grow our economy and our community.
That's great. Thanks so much. Glad to be with you guys.
Heath Mello, CEO and president of your Greater Omaha Chamber. Going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be the lightning round. A lot of things on the list to talk about. You're listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Well, thank you, Jim, and welcome back, everyone. It is time for your lightning round, which is brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction. PC Construction is a full-service Class A contractor doing amazing projects here in Omaha, but also Grand Island, Norfolk, Kearney, Lincoln, Sioux City, all over this area of eastern Nebraska and western Iowa. Led by our good friend Dave Kreitzer. They do a bang-up job with any type of construction, office, big mixed-use projects, institutional, religious, all of that. But lately we've been talking a lot about some of the retail work they've been doing, the Jersey Mike stores and the Thirst Tea, iced tea places and all that. But they do a great job. If you are looking for a contractor that you can trust, that does outstanding work and does it at a fair price and in a short amount of time, talk to Dave Kreitzer and his team over at Perkins Kreitzer Construction. All right, big list. OsteoStrong opening June 14th. This will be the first Nebraska franchise. 100,050 Regency Circle. So one of those office buildings south of the West Roads. Wellness center that helps people develop bone strength and density. Met the local franchise owner, Dave John, this week. This company started in Houston, locations around the world. Closest existing is in Sioux City, Iowa. Cumbia is coming back.
Yes, we're excited.
Colombian restaurant on the 16th Street Mall, closed in November, opening up here this summer. They're coming back. Also downtown, Orange Leaf Frozen Yogurt, going to open a location inside the Holiday Inn at 1420 Cumming Street. It'll be right next to Burger Theory. In fact, you can get into it from the Holiday Inn lobby or even through the Burger Theory. There'll be a separate door from Burger Theory, so you can get your froyo after having a burger. Macadoodles is open.
That's exciting.
72nd and Grover. This is a very cool liquor, beer, and spirits superstore out of Missouri. 11 existing locations. All of them were in Missouri or Arkansas. So this one is the first in Nebraska.
And if you're wondering where that is, Mackie-Doodles is right around the corner from the 4.5 acres that John Meyer and I have listed. You can put apartments there. You can put office there, right at 70th and Grover.
De Leon's Taco Rico opened a new location at 3021 South 84th Street this week. They've got another one coming in mid-June in the former Green Beans coffee space at 3512 Sampson Way in Bellevue. Little King has opened its 7th location in Heartwood Preserve, southwest of 144th and Dodge. And Trenton, this will bring us back to our youth. Spencer's Gifts.
Can you believe that?
Spencer's Gifts plans to open a store in Council Bluffs Metro Crossing Development next to famous.
They're coming
footwear.
out of the hills for that one.
They still have one in Westroads Mall, so you can get your inappropriate party favorite
And your black
gifts.
light.
I loved that place when I was a kid.
Black light's the coolest.
It was, you could go to get a whoopee cushion or a hand buzzer, among other things. Costco Wholesale will officially open its 3rd Omaha area store at 8 o'clock a.m. exactly on Friday, July 12th. We have so many people emailing Grow Omaha asking about that. We're telling you all, Friday, July 12th at 8 o'clock a.m., southeast corner, 180th and West Maple Road. All right, Tanner's Bar and Grill, 173rd and West Center Road is closing for good on June 10th. But it won't stay vacant for long. Early Bird, the local breakfast and brunch place, will open in there sometime later this year. Now, Tanner's will keep open their locations near 119th and Pacific and 156th and West Maple Road. This will be Early Bird's 4th Omaha area location.
Great.
Nice mix, nice reuse, wouldn't you say? Congratulations to Coneflower Creamery. They have been nominated as, for the 2nd consecutive year, they've been nominated as one of 20 independent ice cream shops nationwide to be part of the USA Today's 10 Best list. Last year, the local shop finished in 5th place. That was a travesty of justice. It should be first place.
Coneflower is awesome.
That is good. Now, so they have the location in the Blackstone district, and then I also love that location they have in
Millwork Commons.
Millwork Commons, yes, absolutely.
There's some rumors that they're coming west, ladies and gentlemen. I'm guessing Elkhorn.
We hope it's true. The music is playing, so we're going to go wrap it up for today, but appreciate everyone joining us. I'm Jeff Beals.
And I'm Trenton Magid.
You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center, Cheer Athletics, and Perkins Kreitzer Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.